So you played Kira. She's obviously part of the Black Dragons, like this terrorist organization spread throughout the wastelands. How would you say her role is important to that expansion and her involvement with Kenshi?
I think it's important because there just needs to be more women's stories, and so I'm hoping that this is a great way for the Mortal Kombat franchise to start looking at more women's stories. I think it's great to have her portrayed as she's the baddest one of all of them, especially in this situation, in this movie. So I was like, oh man, I'm gonna probably die early in this. And then I was like, but just to have I would love to see more women just being part of what is traditionally just a man's, the gang of, she brings a whole different element. And I loved that, Yuri Lowenthal, he was sort of he'll be watching this. Like, he was sort of a goofier foil, and they sort of shifted the gender roles on it, and so I really appreciated that.
All right, thank you.
Nadia with the Tacos and Beef.
Hi.
Can you tell us about your approach to this character and what motivates Kira to actually side with Kano?
I think she has a very mercenary side to her, and I was kidding around about it earlier, but it's true. There's not a lot of food. They talk about it in this movie, and I think that most people who are painted, no one's bad all the time. We all have this capability to be awful people under the right or wrong circumstances. And so for me, I was like, it's ripe for jokes, but being hungry and knowing who's going to take care of you is a very real decision that people make every single day in real life, to just be like, I have to take the path of least resistance, or go to the person who's going to take care of me. And I think that's what she does. And also food.
Very important.
Thank you.
When you first got the part and found out that you'd be working essentially with the main bad guy, was there a mentality you had to switch to really focus, like, all right, I'm not going to be playing like the teammate that helps everyone fight the bad guy. Instead, I'm going to be teaming up with the bad guy?
I don't know if this is a reflection on my personality, but I am often the person that is not the helpful teammate. So I knew from the sides. It says in bold on the sides that she is sadistic, cruel, cool-headed, and has a mischievous streak. And so I thought that would be really fun to bring that element to it, because the other stuff, she loves what she's doing, and that in the audition sides she did. So I knew what I was getting into, and I was down with it.
Getting the part for your character, did you have any fear in your mind that you were going to be killed off in this movie?
I felt like there was a very high chance that might happen. In a terrible, awful, violent way. But that's part of the fun, right? So, if you're gonna die in something, you want to die in Mortal Kombat, because it's going to be something that's splattercore, right? So yeah, I was trying to sort through spoilers. I feel like Kira has some staying power that I didn't know she had. How about that?
Okay.
It's the first time we're here for your time. Did you feel any pressure?
No, because honestly, it's again, I have this way of really being single-minded, and so I'm sort of notorious for not. I know that I'm going to get freaked out if I look at the property itself. I try not to look at the fandom so much, because when I've done that in the past, it's thrown me so hard. So it's better for me to not understand the magnitude. And I knew that it was a obviously huge, but I'm probably more nervous now about it because now when you just get the job, you're like, oh, I get to work. Like actors just love to work, right? And so you're like, yeah. Then when people are actually going to see it and hear you, then you start being like, but I got to watch it at home. And so my boyfriend and I sat and watched it, and I was really happy with how it turned out. So I hope everyone likes it.
Well, along those lines, being new to the franchise as well, like, what is something you hope the fans take from your character and performance?
Well, I think the overarching story of the film is one that I really love. That call to, you can be reluctant to do, and this is more, obviously other characters' journeys, but that call to do the right thing, even when it's the hard thing, even when it's the thing you don't want, I think is so important for people to understand right now. Politically speaking, where we are in the world, how we treat other people coming out of this pandemic. There's a lot of actual, metaphors and things that you can take from this to you have to do the right thing, no matter how difficult it is, no matter how tired you are. And I hope that people realize that, because I think we've all been very stressed and traumatized from the last few years of COVID, and it can be hard to be graceful out in the world. So if we can all take a little bit of that, and it's a funny thing to say from a Mortal Kombat film, but like to just be like, all right, it is not the easiest thing, but it is the greatest thing to be kind, to do the right thing, to show honor and mercy.